What's up, Gemini? How are you guys doing? It's time for your weekly check-in. We're going to see what's going on with you guys in the fourth week of October. October week 4. So I do have an announcement to make. I wish I could sit here and wait for everybody to tune in, but today YouTube has been real slow to notify everybody, so I'll just mention it again at the end of the video for the people tuning in live. First and foremost, if you need a personal reading, you can go straight to my website, tarotwithrich.com. I have a link right down here in the description of the video. But the important announcement is this Saturday, October 18th, is going to be our last round of weekly live readings. Okay? They're coming to an end. And if you're new to my channel, that doesn't mean they're coming to an end forever. We're going back to the way we used to do it. This year has been a really weird year. We have been going steady and consistent since February. That's not normal. We don't normally do that. I don't know why we decided to do that this year, but we're taking a step back, taking a big old break and going back to the way it used to be. Usually we only do it 2, maybe 3 times a year, like for maybe a special occasion or a holiday special or something like that, but we're going back to that. So after this Saturday, it's probably going to be a good little while before we do it again, right? Probably going to be a good long while. I am doubtful that it's even going to be in the year 2025. So, yeah, if you're new here and you would like to figure out how to get a $22 reading, you can read about that on my website in the live readings. So, yeah. Anyway, everything else you need to know is in the description. All right, let's jump into this. Let's see how things are looking between Gemini and the person they're dealing with in the 4th week of October. How's it looking? How's it looking? Somebody give me some rainbows and unicorns, man. This month has been a rough month. Have you noticed that? This has been a rough month. I don't know. I for some reason thought October, just energetically, generally, was going to be a more positive month than it's been. But good God, the crazy energies have really been fucking coming in like a tsunami here this month, everywhere, all the way around, you know? All right, let's see how it's looking. Ooh, Knight of Cups. Kind of looks to me like somebody. Ooh, Page of Cups. Looking like somebody coming forward with a love offer. Ooh, but every time, dude. I'm feeling like a love offer's being made. I'm thinking so. I'm thinking communication's happening. I don't think this is random. I think this is very thought out, planned out, and premeditated. And hey, I don't know who's making the love offer. I don't know, but all I know is I think a love offer is being made. But as soon as a love offer is made, you realize it just don't feel the same no more. It just does not feel the same no more. The connection is not there. Something is off. Something doesn't feel right. Especially if this is a situation that you've spent quite some time hoping and dreaming about. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know, like when you were a kid and you spent all that time wanting that toy so bad, and then you finally got it under the Christmas tree. And when you very first opened it, it was like fucking amazing. And then you're like, this isn't what I thought it was gonna be. You know, you sit and you play around in your imagination and paint it up to be something really special. And then once you get down to earth and you experience it for real, it's not what you think it would be, you know? Not what you think it would be at all. And that's pretty much everything that I've learned in life, you know? pretty much everything. Don't get me started on that. We'll be talking all night, but that's kind of what I'm feeling like is happening here. And with that Tower card, that kind of indicates that this is probably going to be a start quick, end quick type of situation. Probably. Some of y'all dealing with a Sagittarius. I also have Pisces here. But could be anybody. Those are just energies. Yeah, you're moving on from this. Love offer is being made. It's not at all what you thought it would be. So you're probably just going to back away from this and skedaddle on out of there. All right. Well, let's see how this person feels about you. Do 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 brown brown. Bam 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 bam. How's this person feel about Gemini universe? Ooh, oh shit. 5 of Wands. Hang on. Yeah, it kind of feels like they're still holding on to some bitterness towards you. Tower again. Devil card. And so, I mean, I think they want to be with you. But they pretty much believe that all of the problems are all your fault. And they're holding on to a lot of bitterness and anger and resentment. You know? Now, I'm not here to take sides. Most of the time, I try the best I can to side with the sign that I'm reading for, if I can. But I'm not even doing that here because it doesn't matter. Whether they are the victim or not, doesn't matter. Even if they are, let's play devil's advocate for a second. Let's say they are. Let's pretend for a second that they're the victim. You're the one that fucked it all up and it was all your fault. Okay. So you decide to do some soul searching. You pop your head out of your ass. You have an awakening. You have a come to Jesus moment. And you say, you know what? I'm going to change my fucking ways. I can't keep being like this. I'm a piece of shit human. I got to better myself. And you do that. You genuinely do that. You really get inside and start doing all kinds of soul searching and, you know, all kinds of energy work. And you change who you are as a person. If they don't change, if they're still holding on to that victim mindset, to that bitterness, that anger, that resentment, they're going to sabotage anything that they try to do with anyone. So it doesn't matter who's at fault here. They want to be with you, though. They do want to be with you. I just think that maybe this person's a little bit too small-minded to realize that this energy ain't going to do nothing but sabotage things. Well, all right. I guess let's get some advice. What deck am I feeling? What's the advice? Star card reversed. You know what? With a situation like this, I don't think there's a whole lot of advice that I can give you. I'm going to try to think of something. See, this is the type of situation that has to play out the way it's going to play out. And there's not really a whole lot you can do to make the situation change for the better. The only thing you can do is prevent things from getting worse. And at the end of the day, Sometimes you have to let shitty, angry, unhinged people just be shitty, angry, unhinged people. Whether they're at fault or not, whether you're at fault or not, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you gave them reason to be bitter, angry, and unhinged, or if they're just projecting their own psychotic shit onto you. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. After a certain point, if they're not willing to let go of that energy, you just have to let them be who they're going to be. And you step away from it, disengage, and be very, very, very careful and picky and choosy who you exchange energy with. Because the more you exchange energy with this, the more you're agreeing to take on that vibration. Does that make sense? That makes sense? So if you start noticing their little, it might start off covert, you know, like real slick, sneaky, clandestine, covert, little backhanded compliments, little passive aggressive shit, you know. Disengage. Disengage, because the minute you start exchanging energy, you agree to lock into that frequency. And when you agree to lock into that frequency, you start emitting those frequencies. And once you start emitting those vibrations, it's coming. Oh, it's coming. Yeah, they're going to sabotage themselves, but they'll sabotage you too if you agree to take on that frequency. So when you start kind of feeling it not being what you thought it would be, it's okay to just disengage and fall back. It's totally okay. Careful. Be real careful. All right, let's see what's happening with the current love interest. Those of you who are interested in a specific person, let's see what's happening. Gemini and the person that you're interested in. What's happening in the 4th week of October? Anything good happening? Anything bad happening? Anything happening at all? Nine of Wands. Somebody's still too guarded. I don't know who it is. That doesn't feel like your energy. Feels like this person's still just a little bit too guarded. God damn, what's with the Devil card, dude? Well, spoiler alert. No new start in love. There might be a third party in the mix here for some of you. Five of Swords, Five of Wands. Devil card. This kind of feels like a sex-based connection with somebody else involved. And it feels to me like this is a ticking time bomb. You're about tired of waiting on this, though. Oh, yeah, I knew this was going to come out at some point. This is a ticking time bomb, dude. You know what? When I see this, and this, and this, you know what this reminds me of? I don't know why this paints this picture in my mind, but if you could imagine putting a balloon on the nozzle of a helium tank and just barely cracking the valve open and walking away from it. Just open it ever so slowly, just walk away from it. And it's filling up, and it's filling up, and it's filling up, and it's filling up. And it's going slow, but it's filling up, and it's building and building and building and building until it's so paper fucking thin that it's about to go pow. That's what this situation feels like right now. The tension is so thick you can taste it. Some of you dealing with a Capricorn. Could be anybody. Let's see their feelings and intentions. I'm curious now. Now I want to know, you. What are their feelings, energies, and intentions? There's somebody else involved. There's somebody else involved. Yep. And there's that again. Tension. There's somebody else involved. Now, if this was a personal reading, which it's not, so I don't want to get too specific, but if you came to me for a general personal reading, which is my most common popular readings, if you came to me and got a general personal reading and you picked the current love interest and this came out, I would tell you this person's still hung up on a past person. Either they're still secretly seeing and fucking around with a past person on the side, or maybe it's one of those things where they're on and off with a past person, and every time they go off, they just jump into the quickest little sex connection they can find until the past person comes back, and then they dump you on your ass and run back to them, and then keep repeating that cycle over and over and over. Or maybe it's a past person they broke up with last year and they're just still hoping, wishing, and waiting. And you best bet your damn skippy ass, the minute that past person hits them up, poof, they gone. Poof. Poof. I know that back when I was dating, which now I'm very happily married to my divine life partner, but back when I was dating, every time I found myself in a situation like this, that was always the case. Always. Always. Interested in somebody that's sending you mixed signals, hot and cold, on and off, in and out, acting one way one day, another way another day. Every time, every single time, it was always a past person. Always. They would always end up ghosting me. Poof, out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. And then within a couple of weeks or a month, I would always end up finding out that now they're back with that ex that they set and ran their name through the mud. Talked all this cash money shit about how worthless they are, how much of a horrible, toxic, abusive, controlling, jealous, narcissistic person they are, how they never ever want to see him again. They're so glad that they finally broke free from that. And they always ended up running back to him every single fucking time. That was my experience, you know. Death card reversed. 10 of Wands. That's what this looks like to me. But since this is not a personal reading, I have to generalize it even more for the masses. Somebody else is involved that I think they have some kind of past history with somehow, some way. So they're not trying to really settle down with any one person right now, I don't think. I don't think so. Could be a Scorpio for some of you. Also got Virgo, Taurus, Cancer. Could be anybody. Those are just energies. Let's get the advice. What's the advice? Justice. That is probably the coolest fucking Justice card, isn't it? Look at it. Isn't that gnarly? This is the Sleepy Hollow Tarot. So I don't know when the story of Sleepy Hollow took place. 1700s, 1800s? Back then, this is how justice was served. You got caught stealing from a store? This is what they did to you. You got caught cheating on your wife? This is what they did to you. But justice means doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. Fairness. Right? So it's time to make a head over heart decision. You shouldn't have to fight for anyone to be in your life. Period. 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 That's one of my most frequently asked questions in my full personal readings, where you get to actually ask questions. One of the most common questions I get is, should I continue to fight for this? And I'm like, continue? You never should have had to fight for it to begin with. There is a very definitive line between working towards something and fighting for something. You don't fight for love. The minute you start fighting for love is the minute it's not love. That's control. You don't fight for love. You should never have to fight for someone's attention. You should never have to fight to get someone to see your value. The minute you feel like you have to do that is the minute you should step back and step away. I'm thinking that this right here, I think this particular situation right here is the one defining situation that's going to either prepare you to meet your divine life partner next year or send you back around in a repeat cycle to learn this lesson all over again. A lot of you got your person coming in. A lot of you. Whole lot of you got your person coming in. But there's also a whole lot of you that are not quite vibrationally aligned for this person yet. And there's still some lessons that need to be learned. No third-party situations. I don't know who needs to hear this. If you're dealing with somebody that's in a relationship and they're cheating on that person with you, that tells you everything you need to know. You notice it's always the same story? You notice it's always, I'm in a toxic relationship. Well, yeah, they're in a toxic relationship because they're a fucking cheater. Rarely. Now, there's exceptions to everything. But about 90% of the time, when somebody's out cheating on the person they're with, the person they're with is not the toxic one, they are. They paint their partner up to be this horrible, toxic, crazy person, you know, and they use that to get sympathy so they can go cheat on them. No. That's the fucking toxic person. The person you're fucking with is the toxic one, right? Under what situation or circumstance is that justified? It's not. Fucking leave. Fucking leave. I don't care what your excuse is. Fucking leave. Get the fuck out of there. Call the police. Do whatever you got to do. Leave. I don't know who needs to hear that. No third-party situations. If you're dealing with somebody that's already in a relationship, I know that's not all of you. It may only be one or two of you, but somebody needs to hear this. If they will cheat with you, I promise you they will cheat on you. Better get the hell away from that. Or you're going to learn a really hard lesson that we've all had to learn. I've learned it too. Luckily, I was a little young pup when I learned that situation, though. I learned that lesson, god damn, 20 years ago? 22 years ago? It only took me one time, though. I learned that lesson real quick. Anyway, though, take that and do with it what you will. All right, y'all, I feel like those were the messages that my Gemini family needed to hear, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thanks again for tuning in and playing along. Don't forget, information for personal readings is in the description, and I have an announcement to make for those of you tuning in now. I mentioned this at the beginning of the video. This Saturday, October 18th, is going to be our last round of weekly live readings. It's coming to an end after this weekend. Now, for those of you who have been following me for many, many years, we're just going back to the way we used to do it. That doesn't mean it's ending forever indefinitely. It means we're going back to how we used to do it, where we break it out 2 or 3 times a year for a special occasion. But this consistent weekly thing we've been doing every single week since fucking February, we're taking a step back from that. It's been fun. We've had a lot of fun with it, but we're taking a step back and we're easing off on that. And we're going back to the way it has been since 2020, 2021. So after this Saturday, it could be a long time before we do it again. A long time. So if you've been thinking about it, but not sure, hey, you might want to jump on that list. If you're new here and you're wondering how to get a $22 reading, the information's in the description. You go to my website, click live readings. It tells you all about it. You can pre-order anytime. Right now, the list of pre-orders is still pretty small, so the orders that come in now will be in the very front of the line. But as always, the video will still remain on my channel permanently, so that you can go back to it anytime, go straight to your reading, go to the timestamp in the comments and go click on your reading anytime you want. So information for that and everything else I have to offer is all in the description of the video. All right, y'all, I'm out of here. I'll see you sometime between now and the rest of all eternity. Stay blessed.